This has been somewhat of a crazy season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I would venture to say that the Raiders are one of those teams that have had about as much fluctuation as the Vikings. But, I mean, there's a ton of teams that go through a lot of different adversity in the entire NFL. But still can't give anything but credit to the Raiders. Obviously they started out the year 3-0, then had back-to-back losses against the Chargers and Bears. And more specifically after the Chargers game, I think a lot of people were questioning, what was going to go on next with this team because, I think everybody felt that was a game that's called a get back on track game. That's where, obviously they could go up against a team in the Bears that clearly was kind of struggling, especially where, when a guy like Justin Fields was going to make his first, one of his first starts. I don't believe it was his first, but one of his first starts. You think you're going to put a lot of pressure on him and go in there and get a win. Didn't happen that way. And I think a lot of people still forget, even though I felt like it's been said enough at this point. There was a lot of distractions going on with that team, with John Gruden, specifically what was happening. But with the biggest win, with this win, which I think is big, I think the Raiders are back. That's right. With a win, a 34-24 win over the Denver Broncos, the AFC West now looks a little bit more. It's starting to kind of separate itself. Now you've got at the top, you've got obviously the Chargers and the Raiders, who are both 4-2, and I think the split here would go to the Chargers because they beat the Raiders just a couple weeks ago. But still a lot of season left to play, obviously. But the Broncos currently sit at 3-3. The Chiefs, 3-3 is 3-3 as well, so that's kind of confusing. But overall, this division is still wide open. One game separates this entire division. But the reason I say the Raiders are back is this. You get a big win against a division opponent that, and by the way, that touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs to start out the game, that was a statement touchdown pass. I believe that's what the announcer called it, or it was a statement play, because that play right there showed me that the Raiders, even with Rich Bisaccia, hopefully that's how you still say his name, hopefully I got that right, I think he's going to go out, and his main message to the team, especially one thing I took away from that win, is we're going to face adversity, but you still got to keep moving forward. And I think that's a big, obviously, yes, it's the NFL, you got to keep moving forward, but this team believes it. If you saw the way they flew to the football, they made plays on the offensive side of the football, which we'll get into in a second. And again, that first play that really was, to me, the tone of the game that showed the Raiders aren't scared of anybody, and that they can play with anybody. Absolutely. And I think that's a big reason as to why I think we need to take a look at the Raiders around the NFL, not just this channel, which we do all the time, but we need to take a look at them in the entire scope of things and realize this team, despite the change in coaching, which again, John Gruden is a big loss, but Bisaccia shows that I think they still believe in him. That locker room still believes in the mission this year. And you got Derek Carr going 18 of 27 for 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs finishes the day with 16 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Also, Kenyon Drake scoring a couple of touchdowns. He has really made a name for himself with the Raiders. I'd love to see it. You have 4 carries for 34 for Kenyon Drake, and then also Drake did also have a touchdown reception as well. 2 catches for 39 yards on the day for him. Henry Ruggs, 3 catches, 97 yards. Again, couple of long balls for Ruggs, and at the end of the day, you can really see that Derek Carr is just going to throw it out for Ruggs sometimes, and he's just going to expect him to make a play, and more often than not, Ruggs does it, and he definitely did it today against the Broncos. You also got Bryan Edwards. I have been saying it. I feel like I'm talking to a wall at this point. Probably him. I've been saying it. Get him the ball more because he is just a big play waiting to happen, and he is. I think at the end of the day, anytime you can get a guy like him with his size, his speed in the open field, most of the time, good things are going to happen. You also had, Hunter Renfrow had 3 catches for 36 yards, highlighted by that 25-yard pass and catch, or catch and pass, whatever it is, catch and run to start out the game. So, obviously, this offense is still kind of going through a lot of things, and this team is obviously going through a lot of things right now. So I think at the end of the day, this is something to take away from the Raiders, and that something is they are most certainly back. And I think just because they have a change, it's like the 1998 Vikings when Brad Johnson went down and Randall Cunningham, had to come in. There's a change in the conductor, there's a change in the starting quarterback, there's a change in the team. Now that's not necessarily the case with the Raiders, but it's a change in coaching staff. But overall, I think it's going to really come down to how they can adapt to the new situation. I think they did so, starting out beautifully with Rich Bisaccia. Again, hopefully I'm saying saying his name right. But overall, you had also a defensive side of the football was just fine. Denzel Perryman lit up. Who was it? Javonte Williams, I think it was. But anyway, you had Brandon Faison. I never know how to say these names. I apologize. He also had a pick. Jonathan Abram with a pick, and then also Trayvon Moehrig. I have been giving this man praise ever since he came out of the draft this year, and I think he's making a name for himself in Las Vegas already. So, the Raiders, clearly the defense kind of came back together, and I know it's Teddy Bridgewater, but he's still a very respectable quarterback, and he made a game out of it at the end there, especially. So this is still a respectable team. This gives them a key win in the AFC West, and it does a lot for this team just in terms of a confidence perspective too. Obviously, we're not going to stop by not talking about some of these defense statistics as well. Corey Littleton had half a sack, also led the team with 11 tackles. Jonathan Abram, who we mentioned before, who had an interception, had 9 tackles. Denzel Perryman, again, 11 tackles. Nate Hobbs, 10 tackles. But overall, Max Crosby, man, was in there. He just smothered Teddy Bridgewater on that one sack. He had 3 sacks on the day. So, and then also Quentin Jefferson had a sack. Also, Solomon Thomas with that strip of Teddy Bridgewater. That was a big play. But overall, and by the way, Unique Ngakoue, I can vouch for as a Vikings fan. He's probably not going to be the best against the run, even though he's not a liability. But he's going to get after it soon. I think he's going to really start to hit his stride as the as the season wears on here. Because again, he did play for the Vikings last year, had 5 sacks in like 6 games, so he is going to hit his stride with the Raiders, and I think that's just going to add another element to that defense, which is going to be scary. So, overall, this AFC West is still wide open. There's a lot to be excited about, and the Raiders are back. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, subscribe down below, leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. Check out our website at thesportsbriefpodcast.com, and in the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so please give us a like down there as well. And if you would, give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, please send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com, and we'd be glad to cover it, or just put it in the comment section and we'll get to it. But let us know what you guys think about the Las Vegas Raiders being back.